Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. Running a bit late this morning. So, I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist. Here are some words of wisdom to get us all rolling today. And these words are kind of ironic to me, but it fits in with the moon ceremony that we had last night. Good morning, Luann. Glad you're here. Because one of the things that Kayleen talked about was an integration of seemingly opposite energies. And so the seemingly opposite energies, I'll read the card too, but the seemingly opposite energies for me at this point are the getting down to business, getting things tied up, no loose ends as I prepare to move, but also this card, which is delight, and figuring out how to integrate those together. Welcome to whomever else just popped in. Glad you're here. So our card deck today is from Denise Lynn. It's the Soul Coaching deck. Welcome, welcome to all of you popping in. Good morning, Cheryl. Glad you are here. So Luann, Cheryl, and someone who's lurking. Soul Coaching deck by Denise Lynn. Haven't seen this one in a little bit, so I'm kind of glad it resurfaced. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're all coming on. And here's our card. Delight. Delight. I want you to imagine just for a moment being one of those birds soaring around above land, feeling the air, the breeze. Excuse me, dry throat today. But the freedom that would be there as we sail around. Good morning, Linda. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. Our card, Delight, kind of matches Linda's icon with the sunflowers. That's awesome. So let's see what it has to tell us, and then we'll work on integrating that a little more. Because, good morning, Charlene, welcome. The more, again, it's not an either or thing. It's not I am sober and focused and getting things done, etc., or I'm in delight. They can coexist. It's an and. It's an and. So, here's delight. Card meaning, clap your hands with joy and let your inner child play. Be silly or play hooky and take a day off. This isn't a time to buckle down and get to work. This is when you should be madcap and spontaneous. Have fun. How many of us have kind of forgotten how to have fun? Yeah, but there's all this work to do, or yeah, but I really have to get this done, or whatever, and we aren't lighthearted and playful. But we can be, Thich Nhat Hanh talked about that, we can be lighthearted and playful as we go about our daily activities. It can be, joy can be woven into everything in our day. Your soul wants you to know. Your spirit guardians are delighted when you're filled with childlike wonder, joy, and exuberance. When just one person radiates true delight, this joyous energy radiates outward like ripples on a pool, reaching even the furthest shores of humanity. I need to get new glasses, honestly. Your pleasure can can rejuvenate you and can have a powerful healing effect on others. The affirmation is, I delight in everything in my world and divine joy fills me. So I want you to think about the people you know who are like that. They're like little merry beams of sunshine walking around, right? And when they enter a room, they light everything up. And does that mean that their lives are worry-free? Absolutely not. But it's about their perspective, the perspective they choose to take. So I'll give you my for instance from today. Yes, I know it's only 10 to 7 Eastern time, but we've already had a day. So the motel, we're due to go to the bank on next Monday. I'm not going to say closes anymore because people think the motel is shutting down. No, we're closing at the bank, signing the papers. That's what I mean when I'm talking about closing. So, in the interim, I got a leak in the roof in one area. And so the contractor came and did all the things on the roof that needed to be done and did the things in the den that needed to be done. And good morning, Larissa. Glad you're here. And I was really proud of myself for not totally freaking out about this. What do you mean? Right before closing? Why is this happening? Ah, nope. It was like, okay, just get it taken care of. It'll be fine. So last night we had a hell of a storm. And I went in there to look. The plasterer is supposed to come today, the drywall guy. And there's a puddle. So again, it's a circumstance. I get to decide how I'm going to react to that. I could have freaked out and been upset and called him at 6 in the morning and yada yada. Or I can say, well, obviously we need another round of whatever they are doing to repair things. The good thing it happened before the plasterer did his thing. So I can see the positive points of this difficult situation. Again, that optimist sees opportunities in every difficulty, pessimist sees difficulties in every opportunity. Which do you choose? We get to choose. And again, we're kind of hardwired for looking at the difficulties in every opportunity, because way back when that had survival value, right? We don't need that so much anymore, but our brains and how they function don't evolve as fast as our circumstances evolve. So we've got this leftover habit pattern stuff that used to be of value, but no longer is as much. So we can consciously begin to practice overriding that. And so when one of my overarching overrides is when something I perceive as difficult happens, stopping and asking myself, what's in here for me? What's of value here to me? So this leak, there's several things. One is I'm taking care of something that needs to be taken care of before the new owners take over. Two is it's an opportunity to test how well I do with, seeing this as opportunity instead of difficulty. It's an opportunity to practice what Kayleen was talking about last night on the moon ceremony, of that integration of seemingly opposite energies. So I can be attentive to what needs to get done with the leak, but I can also be in delight about my day, because I'm having dinner with a friend of mine in Marquette, and all kinds of good things are going to happen today. I get my oil changed, so my vehicle's going to be spiffy again. Stuff like that. How do we choose to view it? And again, energetically, we're all up-leveling. We're all up-leveling. And one of the things I asked on our call last night was for examples of where people noticed this up-leveling. Good morning, Robin. Glad you are here. Because these changes can be taking place. We can be moving into a higher consciousness without us, we're busy, we're doing things without us really paying attention to what's changing. But we want to pay attention to what's changing. So, people were offering what they saw as the evidence that we are up-leveling. And Kayleen played a song that basically the gist of the song was that all is one. We are a one, okay? And those divisions that we arbitrarily created to try to help manage our world don't serve us anymore. So I'm reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and she talked in there about the people who are willing to make mistakes, look bad, ask difficult questions, etc. So when she left her marriage and came out as gay, she was doing these town hall kinds of connections. Good morning, Mary. And she was talking about this particular town hall meeting where an older woman stood up and said, I have a question I need to ask you. And I'm embarrassed to ask it, but I need to know. And you're the only one I'm comfortable asking. But she's asking in front of a whole church full of people, right? So her question was, I have this nephew who just became my niece, And I love him, her. I have a granddaughter who last year took a boy to prom and this year took a girl to prom. I don't understand this. I don't know how to work with this. And so Glennon was explaining that there's this vast energy of humanity, right? And way back when, we couldn't cope with that, basically. So we created these two little glass jars, male, female. Those were the options. That's all you got to pick from. You're in one or you're in the other. And don't be jumping jars, okay? Then we got a little more enlightened and we added some other jars. LGBTQ jars. We've added more jars. And now she says there's many, many jars. And maybe we're ready for there to be no more jars. Maybe we don't need the jars anymore. Maybe we step into that vastness of the energy of humanity. I thought that was a cool story and a cool way to put it and a cool way to capture the transformation, okay? So we go from it's either this or that to we have multiple options to let's transcend all of that. Let's transcend all of that. I just thought that was lovely. So when you're looking in your life now for where are the transformations happening? Where are things changing? Where are we seeing more delight and less drudgery, trudging, work, blah, blah? Where can we bring the delight into everything? Because it really belongs in everything. Everything could be joyful. And again, some people are going to say, Bonnie, that's a pipe dream. What are you? But we have to have perspective to aim for. And everything being joyful is a lovely perspective. I'll aim for that. I'm not sure where you're going to aim for, but I think that's a lovely place to go. Some of the words that Kayleen used to describe what's going on right now. A mystical renaissance. I liked that. A mystical renaissance. Opportunity to see the magic. Again, what are your lenses? We've chosen our lenses. Yes, some of those lenses were developed very early in our life, but we decide whether we're going to slap them back on our face every day, okay? Take a look at the lenses through which you look. So, I'll give you a for instance. The lens of cancer. Let's look at the lens of cancer. There are people who are still stuck in the frames of cancer as a death sentence. Things have changed dramatically since way back when, kind of like HIV. Used to be if you had AIDS, it was a death sentence. It's not anymore. It's now like a chronic condition. With cancer, my dad, I don't know how many years post he is, but I like those stories. Good morning, Pat. Welcome, welcome. So I just posted research sent to my sister recently. A friend of mine who had been told 20 years ago when she got breast cancer that basically it was her death sentence. 20 years hence, she had a party to celebrate the 20th anniversary of her not dying of the breast cancer that they told her was going to kill her. Good morning, Peggy. Glad you're here. So we get to decide. We get to decide how we're going to frame things up in our world. And when we choose, yes, it's good to take in information. It's good to hear other people's opinions, but we get to decide. And when we decide with some delight about things, that is good. Good grief, frog. I had a friend who got a cancer diagnosis last Friday, and she is viewing it as her get out of jail free card. And what she said about that was 12 years ago, I had a wish, a dream that I was too chicken to make happen. And now I've got the get out of jail free card because I can do whatever the hell I want. And people are just going to say, well, you know, she had breast cancer, blah, blah, blah. If that's what gave her permission to move forward with the life she wanted to live, not the life that was going to be safe and provide for her, excellent. I mean, it'd be nice if it was a less arduous path, but at least she's viewing it as an opportunity, an opportunity. So what opportunities do you have right now, disguised as difficulties? Good morning, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. And there is a quote from Richard Rohr that I really like. God comes to you disguised as your life. God comes to you disguised as your life. So in this delight, there's the magic of spirit, of all that is, of the universe, of creator, however you want to frame it up. But that source greater than ourselves is really truly in everything. Even the things that are difficult, even my drip in the ceiling. That's a God thing. I can choose to view it that way. I will choose to view it that way. So I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. I remember the story from Byron Katie, where she came home from touring, speaking, and her house had been wiped out. All of her stuff was stolen. And she was joyful. She danced around because how she framed it up was, obviously that stuff is meant to be somewhere else. I'm not meant to have it anymore. Whatever's meant to come to me will come to me. And she was joyful. That's a very different perspective than most of us would have, right? So what perspective are you going to consciously choose? What perspectives are you going to foster, nurture within yourself? Those perspectives are going to hopefully lead to more delight in living your life. And I think for some of us, doing the earth walk has been difficult. I was talking yesterday morning at my coffee group about having this vague remnant of memory of what it felt like to not be incarnated in a body. And the woman beside me said, me too, me too. I remember this feeling of, it's kind of like flying but not flying. And she was trying to describe it with words, which doesn't work very well. But both of us having that sense of then choosing to come into a physical being is a little more difficult. It's denser energy. It's kind of like being put in that box of, you're a male or you're a female, which one are you? And that box being confining, the physical body being confining in a way. I remember being a little kid and standing on the back porch, and I was thoroughly convinced I could fly. And I jumped off the porch and hit the ground, and I was so disappointed. So disappointed. But there's a reason we chose to come into these body vehicles. And there's much to be learned while we inhabit them. And we need to be willing to step past our fears and learn those things. Many, many, many people live an entire lifetime riddled with fear that keeps them from doing all the things that would give them the lessons they're here to learn. So where can you open up, feel that fear, but do it anyway? Glennon Doyle talks in her book about that was the biggest step she made in her life, was being willing to feel the feelings and see where they led her. What she noticed was she did not get swamped by them. They didn't kill her. They moved on through, allowing big, ugly feelings, shame, grief, loss, whatever it was, anger, to be there, breathe with them. They'll move through. Then you get on with your life. Then you can get on with your life. You're not stuck. So, traveled all over the place here this morning, from my drip in the ceiling to allowing yourself to feel your anger. And in allowing yourself to feel your anger, you're also going to open up the delight with little things. So we had a puppy at the coffee group yesterday, and she was so fun. And her mama named her Little Bit, which I don't think is going to last very long because she's got some big honking paws on her. But Little Bit was just there entertaining all of us, and that was a delight. Where do you see delight today? Where will you choose to see delight today? That is your mission. Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.